Hello, and welcome to episode 34 of Expertise is Overrated, the podcast that takes the time to answer the questions you didn't know you didn't want the answer to. I'm Vib.
And I'm Sean, and neither of us has any clue what we're talking about. Before we move on, let's award the much vaunted Expertise is Overrated Tinfoil Award.
As a reminder, this is an award that we give out at the start of each episode to the person who had the most ridiculous point in last week's episode. I'm gonna say it. I'm unhappy about this one because you're giving it to both of us for your failings as a reliable co-host. See, you made the assumption I'd be fair and be like, oh, he's got a child and he was ill, and then his child was ill and his wife was ill and blah blah blah. No, this is all
he went to stag do's.
No, as you may have noticed, listeners, obviously we've not released anything for a while.
It's like a month.
Yeah, we effectively skipped like 1.5.
I think that's right.
Regularly scheduled episode. What happened to you?
What happened to me? I went on a stag do, and then the weekend after that, I went to the cricket. And at the cricket, I caught COVID. And then as I was getting better from COVID, my wife and the baby caught COVID off me. And we were buying a house. And I had to do a trip to London. My life just became ridiculous for like a 3-week period.
Essentially, listeners, what he's saying is he doesn't give a shit about you.
It's true.
It's all me with Sean.
No, I am sorry.
No, obviously joking, but you've had a rough couple of weeks. Let's just put it that way.
I had a rough few weeks, and then there was some serious question marks about whether or not we were going to be able to record today, because I spent yesterday basically feeling like absolute crap. Went to bed at about 8:30 in the spare room because I was feverish and achy again. I was just like, please don't be more COVID. Please don't be more COVID. But I think it's just been really hot, and that's makes me not a very good human being.
I think it's the fear of having to justify what we're about to talk about.
So this is the other reason why I gave the tinfoil to both of us, because we promised years ago in our last episode that we'd talk Harry Potter.
Yeah.
But since then, we've both seen Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, and thought we haven't done a review for a while. So anyone who was hoping to hear us rank duellists in Harry Potter, come back next time, because we'll do it then. But no, we're gonna talk Marvel. But what came out on like Monday, Tuesday?
Well, Thursday, yeah. Thor: Love and Thunder was released.
So we're not talking about that, because
of course we're not.
That would make us current.
Exactly. So we're going to talk about a film that came out like a month or so ago, if not more.
It came out in like May, didn't it?
Oh, potentially. I don't know. I lose track of these things.
There are too many Marvel films.
There are too many Marvel films. You're not wrong. So yeah, I mean, I'm going to claim that I was being noble for accepting the tinfoil hat for covering for your absence.
You can't complain about the fact that we were sharing the tinfoil hat and then also claim the moral high ground in being noble about accepting
I can and I will. So enjoy.
You win.
Multiverse of Madness. Doctor Strange.
First question. What did you think of it?
Well, let me answer that by sort of briefly highlighting the success of our Discord yet again.
Oh yeah, no, this was fun.
So I did say on our Discord that there was one of us who really liked Multiverse of Madness and one of us who didn't, and the poll was overwhelmingly accurate, I think.
The poll was overwhelmingly accurate. I've been done absolute filth in the Discord. I'm considering shutting the whole thing down in protest.
What, because they've correctly caught on to the state of affairs, and that is episode is my goodness. You can tell it's been a long time. I forgot what we're called. Expertise is overrated. Goodness. No, but as Monkey says, you're obviously the one who liked it because Vib has impeccable taste.
I don't like that people have correctly guessed that I liked it and you don't. I don't like. That's right. I don't mind that. What I don't like is the implication that it's because you're somehow better than me.
Well, but that is the implication, and I love it. So yeah, no, I didn't like it at all. Actually, I must say.
No, you were. I watched it first, and then you were messaging me as you were watching it, and you were unhappy.
I was very unhappy, very very unhappy, and it was interesting because you'd said you quite liked it when you saw it, and I'd heard from friends and colleagues who are Marvel fans that it was just bad.
I think it's really
Unforgivably
split
bad.
people.
So it's one of those where maybe I went into it with this idea, because obviously I don't rate your feedback whatsoever.
Fair.
So yeah, maybe just went into it thinking this is going to be bad, and then it was. But having thought about it, I think it's just a bad film, honestly.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't agree with you. I think it's probably, if we go back to our Marvel tier list, I would probably put it in somewhere between classic superhero average and pleasantly surprising. It's not top tier. It's not, but there's aspects of it that I really like. But something that I thought was interesting was a point that you made was it might come down to how we reacted to WandaVision.
Yes, and I suppose in the spirit of fairness, you never finished WandaVision, did you?
No, it's gash, mate. I don't know why anyone likes it.
Well, I mean, but this is clearly what Sam Raimi, the director, thought as well from Multiverse of Madness. Because the rumors are that he never finished it either.
Quite possibly.
So he obviously thought he made a good film, and you also think he made a good film. So maybe there's something there.
Something to that.
Like if you've watched WandaVision, then this film doesn't make any sense. It's really annoying that it's abbreviated MOM because I keep thinking Ministry of Magic.
No, it's really bad. One complaint that I do have, I think we should just sort of run through the plot beats of the film at some point. But one complaint that I really have is it requires you to, while apparently discounting everything that happened in WandaVision, it requires you to have seen WandaVision in order to make sense.
For sure, because I guess if you're going purely based off the films, the last time you see Wanda and this film, you're like, whoa.
Yes.
What's happened?
The juxtaposition of Wanda at the end of Infinity War, or sorry, end of Endgame, and Wanda in this makes no sense.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't make no sense. That's not fair. It doesn't make no sense. It makes very little sense because you don't understand her core motivation because it doesn't exist in Endgame.
And I guess from that kind of starting point, you could be forgiven for thinking that maybe Wanda could have made a good villain, right? Because she came out of Endgame as a very powerful hero.
Very powerful and very damaged. I think that side of it, it's difficult because you when I try and talk about why I like Multiverse of Madness and Wanda as a villain, I end up saying things like it's a really good depiction of someone with like PTSD or something. And obviously it's not actually, because most people with PTSD don't turn into supervillains. But like I think there's something there of Wanda wrestling to deal with everything that's happened to her and everything that she's seen and everything that she went through, and being so powerful that she's uniquely positioned to essentially do something about it. I really like that. But it also doesn't make much sense if you've not seen WandaVision. She's just all of a sudden evil for no reason.
Yeah, but even if you have watched WandaVision, it makes no sense. This is the problem I have with it.
Yeah,
because at the end of WandaVision, there's a sort of acceptance, and we've discussed in the past that and I think I agree, is that the TV shows shouldn't necessarily have significant bearing on the films.
No, I
I think
think
you should
that's
be able to
right.
get by without having watched the TV show. Which,
They should be additive to the films.
but if you are going to make a TV show that is canon, and then make a film that kind of goes against it, that's a real problem for me.
Yeah, and I think that's something that I'm going to have to take your word for. Because I genuinely don't know how One Division finishes. So I'm just going to have to take your word for it. But there's a sort of acceptance of her. She willingly gives up the life rather than having it taken from her,
Well,
essentially.
must confess the specifics have eluded me because it's been a long time. But ultimately, my when I walked away from One Division, I was like, okay, that sort of tied it off, and she's not obviously the happiest person in the universe.
Hmm.
But to then kickstart, Doctor Strange's second film with her being completely off the rails is a weird one.
Yeah.
Now, I do
Is
have a potential theory
okay.
that could make the storyline work.
Is your theory, because I have a potential theory, having not seen One Division, but is your theory that this isn't our Wanda and our Strange?
Yes.
Yeah, that's my
The,
working theory.
the whole home universe that we start off in that film is
Is not so 616 is not the MCU.
yes,
Yeah, I'm working on that theory at the moment. I think that's the case.
yeah, which I think it can go a little ways to excusing this. I mean, I'm going to be honest here. I don't think Sam Raimi has the intelligence to have actually done that. Just get
It's
that
a
out there
it's
straight
it's
away. But
it's a potential down the line fix, though, isn't it?
yes, exactly. It's the retcon opportunity.
Yes, 616 is not the MCU, and that's how you can have a Wanda who doesn't quite align with our conception of Wanda, or your conception of Wanda, because what happened to her in 616's One Division is different from what happened to her in the One Division that we saw. But that's such a fudge.
It's a massive fudge, and ultimately, what she could have just done is what she was doing in One Division. If all it comes down to is she wants to spend time with her kids, she could have easily just done her whole illusion thing again.
I hadn't even considered that. Just do it again, but don't take over a town.
Yeah, don't take over. But I guess again they could probably explain that way by being like, "Oh yeah, but something in her brain has changed, and that won't be good enough for her anymore." I
She
don't
can
know.
only
It's just
do. She can only make illusions she believes in, or something.
yeah. I mean, I guess the other thing that they went for is to have her corrupted, right, off the back of the book
Yes,
or whatever it was. I can't remember the
the
name of it.
Darkhold. Yeah, she's been using the Darkhold in that exact terrible toll.
Yeah.
Why doesn't she have a third eye? Sorry,
Mm,
that's complete. I want to go through the plot beat by beat, but I've just that's just occurred to me because
I,
both of the strangers that we see using it develop a third eye. So why doesn't she
yeah,
have
but
one?
that could be a specific strange thing, I guess.
Could be a melding sorcery in the Darkhold thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. No. So that we'll put a pin in that because I
Put a
don't
pin
think
in that and come back to it.
I don't think we'll have an answer right away, but that's never
No,
stopped us before. Yeah. So Wanda's evil. Now I did like her as a villain because she is super powerful. I'll say that.
I think I buy if we accept that she starts the film as a villain and we can part that, I buy her as a villain. I think it's a really good, scary performance. Um, the sort of level of threat that she brings to the screen is amazing.
Yeah.
I think,
I
and
mean,
that moment right at the start, where Strange goes to ask her for advice, and she lets slip that she knows the kid America Chavez's name, and then the just like immediate turn from nice apple orchard lady to absolute batshit insane MCU villain is really well done.
well, but it had to be because that has to convince the entire audience that that she is that.
Yes, yeah. You've got to buy it from that moment, don't you?
Just casually shitting on, many episodes worth of TV. But gracefully shitting. Let's put it that way, I guess.
Yeah, it's very delicate.
Yeah, and I mean Elizabeth Olsen, big fan. I think she's a great Wanda. I
I
think.
have to confess, I don't understand why Wanda is so powerful. Like, I'm
Yeah,
more than happy to just accept that she is. Like, that's fine. The MCU doesn't make that much sense, but her powers come from the Mind Stone, don't they?
yeah.
In theory, and yet, like,
Real is there a reality still?
that was the ether, which she's never been in contact with. That's the Thor:
Yeah,
The Dark
true.
World Stone.
Yeah, see, it's the colors that always throw me
Yeah,
with this stuff, right? Because
yeah,
that one
because
is red and
the
all her
ether
powers
is
are red.
red and all her powers are red.
Yeah,
But
the Mind
so,
Stone. You're right.
but when you see her in Age of Ultron, her powers are like mind magic focused, and it makes sense. And then all of a sudden, she just seems to be able to do anything. And it doesn't really
But
matter.
wasn't Vision's also Mind Stone? No?
Vision is also Mind Stone, yeah. But he's not like exposed to the Mind Stone. He harnesses it. It's slightly different.
No, that just makes their relationship kind of weird. If you know what I mean, it's like the Mind Stone being attracted to itself.
it's it's ever so slightly masturbatory, isn't it?
It is a bit. Yeah, why is she so powerful? It's a very good question. It's sort of there's a bit of power creep going on. You think because Captain Marvel was also just OP
Yeah,
toward by Endgame.
yeah. But the Captain Marvel in Wanda in Multiverse of Madness gets absolutely shat on by Wanda, which is very funny, and I want to talk about that fight because it's really funny.
We will get
Uh,
to it. Don't worry.
but no, you're right. You're right. I'm not sure if it's power creep. It's because it feels perfectly conscious that everyone's getting more powerful. It's much more just sort of, oh, we're just playing with more powerful characters now. Um, like they gave Thor for Endgame a massive power boost, right? And like Stark's technology was always upgrading to make him more and more and more powerful. Like if you think back to the Iron Man suit in Iron Man 1, it can
Yeah,
fly.
but with Stark, that's easy to understand, right? Because
Because he's
he's
literally
actually
just
just developing.
upgrading his technology.
Yeah.
But I guess my point is everyone seems to be getting stronger and stronger
Oh,
and
for sure.
stronger.
Yeah.
Steve
You haven't
Rogers goes
seen.
from
Yeah, sorry.
I was going to say Steve Rogers goes from a guy who's a bit faster and a bit stronger to a man who jumps out of planes and lifts helicopters and shit.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And again, you haven't seen Thor: Love and Thunder yet, have
I
you?
haven't seen Love and Thunder, no.
Yeah, the power upgrades are certainly permanent
Mm,
with the likes of Thor. I think is fair to say.
yeah,
Yeah, and I think this is potentially part of the problem for me is that because they killed Thanos,
yeah,
the big bad for so long, and he was super powerful. And I think then they sort of went, shit. Now what do we do? So they're having to bring in these more and more powerful characters and having to use some of the ones that they already showed off as being super powerful.
yeah. But then you get weird questions like if Wanda's this powerful, why couldn't she just deal with Thanos? I'm sure there's a perfectly coherent answer around why she's got access to the Darkhold now and she's been practicing and all of that. But
Yeah,
it just it starts to raise.
but you're forgetting that Wanda was well into the in the process of killing Thanos. She
No,
was actually 1v1ing him.
that's true. Actually, I forgot that. It's a fair point.
So I mean, she was sort of set up an endgame as like, okay, wow, she's
That's true. She was actually. You're right.
But yeah, so I like the fact that she was in the film, but no, I just couldn't get past the logic of that, which is it's a shame because I think she did work quite well as a villain and she acted it really, really, you know, well.
Yes, no, I think she did. I think she was a really good villain, and I thought that she brought, like I said, like an escalating level of threat and tension to the film as she sort of descends more and more into villainy. I thought, when she says right at the start, or not right at the start, but when she's going after Cabotage, like, this is still me being reasonable, and she just keeps escalating from there. I thought that was really good.
Yeah, that was like peak villainy. I love that.
Yeah.
But the premise is flawed. Like, why is that her like conclusion and plan is to instantly go after the multiverse just to get her kids back? I don't know.
I guess because she's not thinking straight, right? This is the whole point. She's not mad. That's a completely unfair characterization, but she's so fixated on the idea of getting her kids back that she's not actually thinking about what what that means. If that makes sense, and that I mean
It,
that's shown at the end as well when she's like in the house with the kids and other Wanda, and she's so fixated on getting the kids that she doesn't have any idea of the like harm that she's causing. It's such a selfish emotion.
yeah,
She's not thinking straight.
yeah, sure. But they had to introduce the Darkhold to sort of make that all work. And it's
Mm.
just, uh, you know,
I want
they
the
just got a
story.
direction from the higher ups of Marvel. Like, what we want to do, guys, is multiverses. So make it happen.
Yeah, I think that's right.
There's a lot of sort of the Last Jedi being handed back to someone else vibes for me, right? It's just like we need to kind of get this to work, so we're just gonna shoehorn this in somehow.
Yeah. No, I think it shoehorned is absolutely right. It definitely feels somewhat like that. Um, but for all that, for all these sort of little complaints, I really enjoyed it. I had great fun watching it. And sort of for me, that's all that ever really, well, it's not all that ever really matters, but that viewing experience has a big impact on how I end up thinking about a film.
Well, ultimately, it's why you watch a film, right? It's
Yeah.
to be entertained, and it's. Has it ever happened with a Marvel film? I'm actually not convinced it has. Eternals got very close.
What, for
You know
being
that
actually
sensation of
bad?
like, I might be better off not continuing this.
Thor 2.
Yeah, maybe Thor 2's main crime is that it's just a bit boring and naff.
See, I think I said this when we spoke about Marvel films before. I'd go back and watch Eternals, I think, just for the sheer batshit insanity of it. I don't want to go back and watch Thor 2.
I'm inclined to agree. Although I think what would actually happen is if we went back to Eternals, we'd be like, ah, yes, I remember now, and
Oh, yeah,
then
no, actually,
then
this
end
is
it.
bad. I think you're right.
But with Multiverse of bloody hell, this name of this film with Doctor Strange too. Um, that it just felt wrong. That was the overriding emotion for me. It just felt wrong.
Fair enough.
So either it's genius because it's not our MCU, and that just really stood out to me, or it's not a very good film.
I want to sort of address this. It's not the MCU, because the thing that I keep seeing, and I think you mentioned it while disagreeing with it, is the idea that this is actually a horror film.
Yeah, everyone keeps saying that, right?
Can we address that, please? Because it's not.
Well, I mean, horror isn't my forte, although I did spend many hours watching the horror channel when I had it on TV many years ago. It's like peak entertainment. Um, this to me, well, horror surely implies some sort of scary element, right? Is that fair?
I think, well, horror is an emotion, right? You either feel the emotion horror or you don't.
Well, certainly horrified, so I guess it counts.
um, but no, I mean, I think a horror film has to inspire fear, trepidation, discomfort, any one of those. And sure, some of that can be jump scares or what have you, but I think for a film to be properly a horror film, it needs, I don't know, it needs to be more than just bad attempts at jump scares. I don't think, like, there aren't even jump scares really in Doctor Strange 2.
I fully agree with you. It was only after the fact that people started saying, "Oh, horror and Sam Raimi and all that," and I was like,
I think,
"Really?
yeah.
I got none of that."
I mean, there's a few moments which make you sort of sit back or sit up or something, but that's because the music all of a sudden gets really, really, really loud. So your body reacts to that. It's not that what's on screen is scary or sort of, the monster appears out of nowhere and, is behind a door that gets opened or something like that. That's what I think of as a jump scare, not
But
not
there are
one of the.
that's sort of what he was going for, though, right? You know,
But I don't think it landed. I don't think any of
no,
that really
exactly.
landed.
It didn't land at all.
There's 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 some moments in the film that made me very like, like when Wanda's walking across the broken glass, but that's not horror. I don't think. Not on its
Yeah, but
own.
that sort of fits in. Yeah,
Or if it is horror, it's like body horror. It's not.
and
It's not
psychological thriller
psychological.
type stuff, right? I
Yeah,
think. Yeah,
maybe.
and this film definitely had a much grittier vibe to it than all of Marvel, but it undoes that largely, I think, because all the grit happens in universes that are supposedly not, well, I don't want to say not canon, but not ours, right?
I think it undoes it in a completely different way. Because I sort of don't care about the multiverse point. If something that's scary in 616 is scary in 838, right? That's just, the stakes might be different, but I'm not sure that I believe that. Um, but it sort of has the classic Marvel problem of every time something scary or what have you happens on screen, it's immediately undercut by a pithy comment from Benedict Cumberbatch or whoever it is who plays America Chavez, whose name I've just completely blanked on, right? And that completely cuts across it, I think.
It's it's that, but what I guess what I'm getting at more is that because, and I feel this is really obvious when you watch the film, right? When he's in the Illuminati universe, and I'm sure we'll get back to that whole shit show. Um, it's like really obvious that our Doctor Strange just doesn't care, right? All these superheroes that I'm sure have done great things for that particular universe just
Yeah,
get absolutely slaughtered, and he's like, yeah, whatever, it doesn't matter.
yeah,
And
no,
so the tone of all that is really confusing. Like it's scary because Wanda's like ripping these people apart and whatnot, and then it's like, yeah, but we don't really care. And that just, either you you make me want to be scared of her, or you don't. You don't sort of go halfway and then go, psych. It's odd.
either I care about Black Bolt or I don't. Right? Either I care about Mr. Fantastic or I don't. You can't put them in the film, pretend that I have to care about them, and then have their deaths be not quite played for laughs, but almost played for laughs.
Played for that, pretty much, yeah. And it's sort of like, oh yeah, no, I did read the bit in the contract that says I need to kind of allude to what if and all the other like weird Marvel shit.
Yeah,
It's, gimmicky. That's what it is. It's a complete gimmick. Just an excuse to be able to kill some superheroes on screen because it doesn't matter.
that's probably true. That might actually be what it is. We haven't shown that the stakes are real for a while. Well, for like 4 films since we killed Tony Stark.
Yeah,
So we need to have powerful people die on screen, but we can't actually have anyone powerful die on screen.
that's the thing. It's like the thing you hated so much in Loki all over again, right? Where they did the post credit scene when
Oh
there's
yeah,
maybe the slight chance that Loki was dead. It's like, just back yourselves, kill someone relevant.
kill
You
Wong.
know, I was just thinking that, but I would have
Oh, I would have
protested.
walked out. I was going to say walked out the cinema. I watched it on a train, and you can't really walk out of a train. That's
I would
not
have
how they
protested.
work. But I'd have been unhappy if they killed Wong. But also, like, I don't need every single scene that has Wong and Strange in it to be a buddy cop.
Oh, I do absolutely.
Well, no,
I
not the plan.
100%. I'm here for
No,
that.
I'm absolutely here for that, and the interactions between Benedict Wong and Benedict Cumberbatch, which also really,
Amazing, right?
yes, no, genuinely, the two of the lead actors are called Benedict. What a world we live in.
And then Benedict Wong's character is literally called Wong.
But I don't need every single scene with them in it to be played for comedy. The comedy works better if some of those scenes are serious, I think. And I think that's something that Marvel in general has lost.
Yeah, and but this is again the tone of this film is so off. It's like they're following a formula that you know
Yeah.
it's like set in stone. This is the recipe, and you have to follow it.
And
But it
then Wong
doesn't
says
work.
something catty, and then Strange refuses to acknowledge that Wong is the Sorcerer Supreme, and then Wong says something catty. It's like I don't need that every scene.
No, exactly. It's not good filmmaking. Ultimately, it just isn't.
Except I really enjoyed it. So
Yeah, I did. Yeah, no,
I'm
I
being
did.
I'm being really I'm being really negative about the film because I think if you drill down into the specifics, there's a lot wrong with it. And the more I talk about it, the more I start to think that. But
But yeah, but this is harking back to our Star Wars discussion from a
exactly,
few episodes ago. There's if you drill too deep into certain things, that becomes an academic exercise as opposed to
I
an
think
emotional
that's
one.
I think that's right.
But what I think is interesting with this is, as we've discussed, is that you liked it when you watched it, and I just didn't. And then we
Yeah,
consider and analyze and come up with more or less the same conclusions as to why, objectively, as a film, it might be bad. But it's interesting that you did like it. So what about it is what worked for you then? Do you know?
do I know? I've always liked Stephen Strange.
Yeah,
Cumberbatch's
me too.
Stephen Strange, I think, is excellent. Um, I thought that although I don't think you can call it a horror film, I thought that the elements of attempting to engender fear that Sam Raimi put in worked for a given value of worked, and I thought that Wanda was a compelling villain. And that's basically it. The plot is lacking. The plot doesn't make much sense, and that is a problem. But I don't really go to Marvel films for plot because the plot is always bad things happen, good guys try and stop bad thing and fail, good guys keep trying to stop bad thing and keep failing, good guys work out how to stop bad thing, good guys win. That is the plot of every Marvel film that has ever been made, with the possible exception of No Way Home, which breaks the mold and is very good as a result. But I don't know why I liked it, and I know I need to go away and rewatch it to understand what it was about it that I liked. It looks great. The visuals are really good. Like the cinematography is very, very good, I think. And that always works for me because fundamentally I'm a child who likes flashing lights and bright colours.
Ah, mm, yes and no. I think for this one, and actually not so much just this Marvel film. I feel they're more and more going the way of the Hobbit compared to the Lord of the Rings.
Too much CGI.
Too much overt CGI, if that makes any sense.
I didn't need so the monster right at the start, the in New York at Christine's wedding, the like tentacle monster. Didn't
Yeah.
need that. That could have been literally anything else. Didn't add to the film at all.
Yeah, and because that one was again so comically, like
It looks so
none of this
stupid.
matters. Like, that's sort of my overriding feeling with the whole film. None of it matters, and as well the ending, because Wanda supposedly kills herself. Well, off screen, so
Can
that's
we stop having suicide as a plot resolution? Can we just
well,
all agree that that's
yeah,
bad?
it's like yeah, sure. You want us to think that, but let's be honest, you're Marvel, so obviously not. It's like
Well, this is the thing. We never saw a body, so it's very easy for her to not be dead.
it's like they've stopped operating in good faith, Marvel. They're just now they've gone way too far into, ooh, look at all the flashing lights, and they're getting even flashier and even more absurd. And we're throwing musical notes around because
Yeah, I didn't understand the music fight. Like,
that's a Sam Raimi thing, apparently. I don't know.
I
This
see.
what I think. This is what above all really bothers me is that you could tell that this was a director who has like a thing,
But that
And apparently,
works
this is
with
why so many
Taika
people loved it.
Waititi, right? Because Taika Waititi has
Yeah.
his own style in it, which involves him being in every film, and it works.
Well, so we'll have this discussion when we talk about the new Thor, I think. But so Ragnarok,
Yeah,
I think we did agree was one of the best Marvel films made.
we did.
And yes, there's
Is Love
obviously
and
a lot of
Thunder
YTT
not?
in there, but it still works as a film. It doesn't get in
Mm,
the way, I would say.
mm. No, you're
Yeah,
right. It's a film that works, that has clear Taika Waititi in it.
yeah. Whereas I suppose they tried to give Strange the sort of Ragnarok treatment and
That's
take the
exactly right.
direction.
That's exactly right. This is Doctor Strange's Ragnarok, and
Yeah,
I think I agree that it doesn't land
yeah. It
as
doesn't
well
land.
as that.
It doesn't land.
Um,
But I don't know if I don't know if this direction could have landed. This is what I don't know about my feelings with it. I don't know if it's just so bad and jarring for me that because the concept doesn't work for me, or because it was just poorly done. You know what I mean?
I'm just looking up what Sam Raimi has done other than Spider-Man. I guess he did. Oh, he's done all sorts. He did Evil Dead, apparently. Uh, yeah, he did obviously Spider-Man. I suppose no. Spider-Man does have quite a lot of body horror in it, doesn't it? I guess
Or the original.
the original ones, yeah. But he also did a load of Xena Warrior Princess and Hercules: The Legendary Journey.
Okay, so he does know how to make
As
excellent quality content.
I suppose he was a producer, not a director, but that that might might go some way to say what the problem. Oh, he also did a lot of Legend of the Seeker, which is very bad. Um, anyway, we haven't really spoken about the plot yet.
Yeah, no. But coming back to this makeover, and I think so. So again, with Thor, it worked. I think right because
Uh-huh.
Thor, the character, really developed a lot in Ragnarok.
that
Stephen
that I
Strange, the
think is the
character.
point.
Sorry, what was that?
I think you're about to say what is the point. Go ahead.
Yeah. What is the point? Because Stephen Strange, the character. What was the character development that happened in Strange 2?
That's exactly what I was going to say. What is Stephen Strange's character arc?
Because he ultimately he's an arrogant twat, right? That's sort of how he starts, and he learns a bit of humility.
Does
Uh,
he?
well, in the first film, right? He learns a bit.
Sorry, yes, in the first film, he learns humility in order to cope with the consequences of his own arrogance.
Yeah, and sort of his love life gets completely ruined, and then
Yeah.
they sort of picked up all those threads and were like, "There's something here, but we don't need to actively do anything with it." If you know, the sort of the feeling I got with it.
Strange at the end of Doctor Strange 2 is the same man as Strange at the end, at the start of Doctor Strange 2.
Well, and he's almost the same as
Broadly.
at the start of Strange 1, which is a regression.
Yeah, it's like he's backslid.
Yeah. It's odd, and this is why, again, I'm a big fan, because I just want this to all make sense of this, being a different canon universe. But
I think that's right. I'm coming more and more around to that idea. One other thing for me, like it feels like all of a sudden the scale has gone completely batshit insane. Like all of a sudden we're talking about events where two entire universes annihilate each other, leading to, I imagine, the deaths of like quadrillions of people.
what,
So
Thanos killing off half of the known
and
universe wasn't enough people.
Thanos killed off half of all life in the known universe, and that's like nothing now. Like the scale's gone completely out of control. How are we
Yeah,
ever?
I'm not sure I was getting that, to be honest.
It's just something I've more thought about after the fact. How am I ever going to care about the stakes in, Black Panther 2? Because the nature of the threats that film's going to deal with are going to be so much smaller. And obviously I'll care because the characters will be better developed and all of that, hopefully. But I don't know, the conflict scale's gone a bit ski-whiff for me.
Yeah, maybe. I think what I'm really lacking more than that is what is the overarching plot of it all.
I think it's Kang, but I don't know what.
Yeah, which just shows you to be a real hypocrite, right? Because no one's supposed to know that name unless you've watched the TV shows.
They never mention the TV show they never mention the name in the TV show, I don't think.
No, of course not. But so a lot of people who don't watch TV shows are watching this, going, what is happening?
But there was no central line running through until.
No, but there was a central villain who had appeared on screen very early on.
When is Thanos' first appearance?
Very early, I think Phase 1, right?
It's phase. Is it the Avengers? I think he appears in the Avengers.
Yeah, I want to say even before then, but don't want to be quoted on that. He's definitely in the Avengers, yeah.
Yeah, because the end of the Avengers is the all right, I'll do it myself, and then he puts on the Infinity Gauntlet. I don't know.
I want to say, yeah. As always, we've done our research. No, but this is really what's missing for me now is that, yeah, the power scales maybe are escalating. I think you're probably right, but it's for no apparent reason.
I don't yet understand what the central conflict is, but we're operating at a threat level where I feel like I should know what the central conflict is.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah, and as well, these are all like events that are so huge that it sort of does beg the question, like, where are the Avengers in all this, right? Like, there's so many weird and completely crazy things are happening, and it's always like one superhero dealing with it.
But that's always been a Marvel problem ever since Phase 1.
Yeah, I suppose.
But yeah, no, where is... I don't even know who Strange can call on. I don't know who's in the Avengers anymore. But where's Falcon? I mean, again, he's not really going to help against Wanda.
Yeah.
Anyway.
No, but this is almost more the thing, right? If you are dealing with Wanda, and I think it's fair to say that of all the people who knew Wanda, Stephen Strange isn't going to be like, top of that list, I guess, right? So where are your Hawkeyes? Maybe where are your Bruce Banners?
Yeah, where's Hawkeye? Where's the Hulk? I think those are the real questions. Where's Professor Hulk?
Actually, and where's what's his face? Don Cheadle. Just completely
War
escaped.
Machine.
Yeah, because he was always in charge of like the Avengers compound and stuff, right? Like,
Yeah,
surely if Wanda's gone off the grid, like call someone like him in. Um,
yeah.
it's yeah. I don't know. The whole thing feels, but it's true of this phase in general. I think.
But it's weird because this phase also has No Way Home in it, which is such a good film. But it's got that, and then it's got Black Widow and Eternals, and
Or
Doctor
Shang-Chi,
Strange
which is
2,
also a great
and
film.
Shang-Chi, which is also a great film. So it's really, I'm coming round to Doctor Strange might be disappointing because the more I analyse it, the more I get wound up by all of these questions. But yeah, I don't understand how there can be such a split in the quality of the films.
Yeah, it's confusing, I think. Um, but the Illuminati. Let's have a crack at the Illuminati.
Let's have a crack at the Illuminati. So this is
Exactly. I found myself in this sort of weird situation where I was like, I kind of like it, but I also hate all of it.
it's really comic book, I think. This is the Avengers equivalent on Earth 838. I'm assuming. It's so
Yeah,
weird. So it's got Baron Mordo, who is excellent, Captain England or whatever,
I think it's just
Peggy
Captain
Carter,
Carter, right? Wasn't
Captain
it?
Carter, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
Captain England would be.
Captain England would be bold. Captain Carter sounds much better. Um, Black Bolt, who is a character I've never heard of.
Although, what a great death! I enjoyed that a
So
lot.
funny. We need to go through all of these deaths because they're all hilarious.
Although his also creates an instant problem, but
I'm
yes, we'll
sure it
get there.
does. Crap Captain Marvel, Maria Rambo, who is Brie Larson's friend from Captain Marvel, I think.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah,
He gets crushed by a stone, even though Captain Marvel can
fly
basically like,
through. Wait,
yeah.
stop it! I'm giving the names and then we're doing the deaths.
No, I'm so angry already.
Mr. Fantastic and
Way of getting John Krasinski in a film, yes.
yeah, in favour of, and Patrick
True.
Stewart as Charles Xavier, again in favour of.
Yes, but no.
Can we stop putting Patrick Stewart in films, please? Though he's too old.
No. I love Patrick Stewart. Don't get me wrong.
He's so old.
He's so old, but also just
This
he
was a
had
complaint.
his story arc was so nicely completed. Like
I agree.
let Professor X be gone.
It should have been McAvoy. If you're gonna put Charles Xavier in a film now, it either has to be McAvoy or it has to be someone else. You can't keep using Patrick Stewart.
Actually, McAvoy would have been really hilarious in that setting.
McAvoy would have been so good
in that yellow.
In that, this is what I mean about it being ultra comic book, though. Like, why is he in the 90s floating wheelchair that he has in the X-Men animated TV show that we've never seen on screen before and no one was clamoring for? If you want him in a floating wheelchair, use the one from Days of Future Past.
Would have been too easy.
Would have been way too easy.
No, but that scene, it's fundamentally right. And I know, obviously, all superhero films we need a fight and we need some entertainment. But Wanda's on a mission, and the entire film through, she's been very clearly on a mission and being relatively efficient, I think. Yet here, she's like, "Oh, I'm going to showboat and really fuck these dudes up."
I love the showboating, though. I love it.
Yeah, but it's like, your quarry is literally about to escape.
Yeah,
it's all she cares about, and then for some reason they're like, "Oh no, in this case, this character will do something uncharacteristic. Just why? Well, we know why, because they wanted the fight, but why?
I, I guess the theory is she stops being reasonable, so she starts being performatively evil. But no, it doesn't really make sense.
Especially because she starts shuffling along like a weird zombie as well.
Well, she's also dreamwalking at that point, and she's never done it before, so that's
Yeah,
probably part of it. So she's genuinely wearing 838 Wanda like a puppet.
this didn't slow her down in the fight, though, did it?
No, but maybe she's walking on instinct there. I don't know. And also she's walking on glass at that point, which is horrid. Um, I don't know.
But yeah, so Black Bolt, if that's his name, I've forgotten.
Yeah, that's the
That's
first. That's the first death, which is very good. Although very, very 1999 Matrix.
very nice, and also just a little bit of like, we've just watched an episode of The Boys, and we kind of liked what they did.
It was very The Boys. I don't understand what Black Bolt's power was. He appears to have a little thing on his forehead that glows, and then things explode when he talks. Is that just his power?
I've got no idea. Yeah, it's just his voice just kills you. And this is another thing, right?
Why
in
did
that
they
whole
kill
universe, they were like, Strange has done something bad, so we must kill him.
But we'll kill him with Black Bolt when they have Charles Xavier, who could just put him in a coma.
Yeah, just odd decision making all around.
It doesn't make any sense. I think the Illuminati might be idiots. Anyway, so
yeah, I think that's probably what they were going for, wasn't it?
I think that is what they were going for. Reed Richards says to Wanda, Black Bolt could destroy you with a whisper from his mouth, at which point Wanda goes, "What mouth?" and it zooms out and he just has no mouth. And that's an element of body horror, and I quite like that. It's quite like, okay, yeah, no, well played, Sam Raimi. But then apparently Black Bolt panics and the back of his head blows off.
It's a little yeah. Why exactly does he die, right?
Why doesn't the front? I assume he makes so much noise it causes his head to explode. But why specifically does the back of his head blow off? Like, surely the front, like the way noise works, surely it should like blow off the front of his head or his whole head. Like, does the noise bounce off the mouth?
No. You see, my interpretation of that was just that Wanda kills him by like literally squashing his brain.
Oh, maybe.
I don't think it was him killing himself, essentially.
I thought his own powers were meant to have killed him through panic.
Maybe. I just sort of read that as like, she just smushes
She just
him.
popped his head.
Yeah, essentially.
She then unravels Reed Richards, which is hilarious.
Funny. Yeah, that was funny.
That was really funny. But also highlights just what an absolute waste of oxygen Reed Richards is in anything other than a laboratory, which I enjoy.
Yes.
I have absolutely no idea why Mr. Fantastic is such a popular hero, because all he is stretchy.
Yeah, and for some reason, like the head of the Illuminati. Really
he's introduced as the world's smartest man.
Which proves that in that universe, Tony Stark is also dead.
Yeah, that probably does. And then there's a fight with Captain Carter, which is pretty good. It's a good fight. Except she keeps throwing the shield at Wanda, and then Wanda keeps catching it and throwing it back. And then one time she throws it back so hard she cuts Captain Carter in half, which is funny. Like, all of these deaths are funny.
That is funny, but that's when they sort of drew a line. It's like, we can't show that. We can't show that. Then that's too far. Like,
we can literally unravel a human being in front of you, but seeing someone get cut in half, no, we can't do that. And then, as you say, she drops a heavy rock on Captain Maria
like
Rambo,
the strongest person,
who's the only person who could possibly go toe to toe with her, and that kills her.
Yeah, the woman so strong she just affirmed a Thanos punch.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Odd. Just the whole thing's odd. None of it feels right.
No. And then she decapitates Charles Xavier inside her own head, which is pretty good.
Yeah, but the way he then actually dies on screen is just
That's the problem. The death.
That's just Patrick Stewart's a little too old.
Patrick Stewart's a little bit too old. He sort of just like flops really
To be
badly.
fair, to be fair to him, maybe he just thought this is all so fucking ridiculous. I'm going to make my death look ridiculous.
And no one dare ask me to reshoot it because I'm Patrick fucking Stewart.
Exactly. What is this film? Yeah, so that was, and then the musical notes fight was another weird one, right? Like that's just artsy for the sake of being artsy, and completely.
It's really artsy for the sake of being artsy.
Just, yeah. I mean, there's so many ways you could have gone with the strange versus strange fight. That didn't feel like it, to be honest.
Didn't feel like the one. But I don't know how you do a strange versus strange fight, but I'm not.
Well, you certainly have two.
Marvel.
I think you certainly have two of his cloaks fighting, right? That surely would have been. That's what I would have done.
Fuck, that would have been really funny.
But no, they just.
You could have an absolutely brilliant gag where the two cloaks stop fighting and each go onto the wrong strange.
Yeah. Yeah, so stuff like that exactly would have been way better.
That would have been actually funny rather than like a crappy Marvel quip.
And it's also at that point where like all the weird spirits start doing something. Yeah, it's like
and then all of us. So dream walking, not okay, but nothing's going to happen to you. Dream walking into your own corpse. That's where we draw the line.
Any corpse, I think, but yeah, essentially.
You can only dream walk into yourself. That's the whole point. That's why it has to be into the corpse. That's definitely a plot point because.
Yeah, but does that apply when it's dead? I suppose.
I don't know. I don't think it's particularly well thought out.
No. Well, that was a pure ex machina moment. They were like, right, we need him to actually beat Wanda now. So
yeah, how do we do that? It was a very rapidly decaying corpse to say that it was sealed up.
Yes.
Just a thought.
Fair.
I mean, I don't know quite the rate at which corpses decay, but feels like it's quite quick.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I guess it's hard to with these sort of things, time shenanigans, right? Something time travel, space travel.
Something time travel.
So yeah, that was all very weird, and the climax of that fight was just a bit. There's like so much going on in that film without anything going on. I think what's really quite telling is that we haven't actually talked about the new character they introduced.
American
mentioned her, yeah, we mentioned her, but we've not really said, "Oh, yay!" or.
I thought she was good. I don't really understand.
It's the Eternals thing all over again, isn't it? It's like they're like, we need this character, so just introduce her.
Yeah, but I don't. If her entire power is multiversal travel, which it appears to be, like, isn't she just like a plane? Like she's a plot device more than a character. Obviously, she's a character because she's a person, but it doesn't. Maybe she's got a different power, but it feels like she's a weird character to have introduced. Other than this phase is about multiverses, so we need someone who can travel the multiverse.
It's that. Plus, in this film as well, I guess she was supposed to probably be the thing that exemplified Stephen Strange's character development, right? Because he gets her to control her power, but it's sort of, again, not that well done, I think.
Yeah. It's so weird.
Yeah, it's fascinating that you watched it and thought, I'm quite enjoying this.
I genuinely need to rewatch it now.
Maybe so do I. It's just I don't know.
I still think Wanda's a good villain. I still think that I'm always going to enjoy watching Benedict Cumberbatch be Stephen Strange because he pulls off that arrogant wizard so well. And the single greatest regret is that we never get a Benedict Cumberbatch playing Cornelius Fudge or Rufus Scrimgeour, actually.
Yeah, he'd be good at that.
He'd be a good Rufus Scrimgeour. But then we wouldn't have had Bill Nye's Rufus.
True.
I'm just going through this plot summary that I've got open.
Just one point I think that may be the most criminal thing for me is that if you're going to go down a sort of grittier, scarier Marvel film, and you have Wanda as your villain, go down the psychology route.
Yes,
right? She can make anyone do anything.
Yeah.
And because Steven's mind has always been, in some ways, his greatest asset and his greatest enemy, right? I think that could have been such a much more intricate way of playing all this.
Make him cease trusting his own brain. I completely agree. I think that would have been and then you don't need Wanda to be so magnificently powerful as she is. It doesn't become about
much more subtle,
that. Like, because if you think about the fight at Camartage, she actually wins that because of her mind control-y powers. She gets inside someone's head, which is what causes the shield to break.
Yeah.
But she then becomes like a WMD and blows everything up. It would have been much better if she'd found a way to make the sorcerers all fight each other.
Yeah, and because they reintroduced the. Sorry, go on.
Make them all see, each of the other ones is a monster, so they just fight and kill each other. And Strange has to watch this and can't do anything for I don't know why, plot reasons. He just has to watch these people whom he ostensibly cares about tear themselves apart, and there's nothing he can do to stop it.
Well, yeah, and it would have given a much more deep and meaningful thing for Wong and Strange to, talk about bond over, or fight over. But as well because they bring back his love interest, right, from the first, and that could have been such rife ground of mental manipulation. Or even with America Chavez, who's like sort of, she thinks she killed her parents. I think any Wanda worth of salt would make something of that.
Yeah, I don't need more Christine Palmer as well. I don't buy that relationship at all. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not a criticism of Rachel McAdams or anything like that. She's a very, very good actor. I just don't think that she and Cumberbatch have any on-screen chemistry at all.
Yeah, no, I agree. Completely agree.
Give me just Stephen Strange and Chiwetel Ejiofor. Make that your on-screen relationship.
I mean,
that's
anything
that's
with Chiwetel Ejiofor. I'm all over that. He's fantastic. Ever since Serenity.
Yes, I did enjoy him coming back. Anyway, we've rattled on for a very long time. Gosh, the delivery drivers in your area are noisy.
Yeah, me to myself there. I really fucking hate motorbikes. Can I just put that on record?
Yeah, no, we won't edit that one out so that everyone can hear just how awful.
In cities, I'm sure they really are fun to ride and stuff. But like, Jesus, it's a residential area.
Yeah.
No one's impressed by your fucking motorcycle.
With an L plate on the back, so you don't have to.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Anyway. Yes. So very confusing.
I've definitely come out of this episode with more questions than answers.
Yeah. Well, I think we'll revisit all this because what is the overarching plotline of this phase is perhaps worth an episode. I don't know how many more films are supposed to be in this phase after Thor.
When's Guardians 3?
So this is something that we'll talk about if we're doing a Thor one as well. The sort of power gulf that Thor has created in the Guardians, or with the
No, I mean
Guardians.
he was always going to, wasn't he? Because it doesn't make any fucking sense. So
Yeah, but I guess the issue with the Guardians is that they were sort of a stronger together than, as in more than the sum of their parts. I guess.
yeah, but Thor.
Yeah. No. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. I mean, it's a film with two Thors, and talk about escalating power levels.
Yeah. So the last film in Phase 4 is Fantastic Four.
Oh no!
I know.
Are we going to get John Krasinski for anything?
I really hope so. Because he was a great Mr. Fantastic. But I don't know.
I really don't care about Fantastic Four.
No. And that might be because they've tried to make it twice.
It's all
And
been terrible.
neither of them have been good.
Yeah, we'll see. So what else is there between?
So we've just said Thor: Love and Thunder. So Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, Guardians of the Galaxy 3, The Marvels, and Fantastic Four.
The Marvels. It sounds like some sort of weird family sitcom.
It's a sequel to Captain Marvel.
Right. Still got Brie Larson in that, you think?
Apparently, Brie Larson returning as Carol Danvers.
Yeah. This is also one. Why does everyone hate her? I really don't understand.
I don't know. So we're also getting the actors from Miss Marvel, which I haven't watched.
That's the current TV show. It's interesting, actually.
So Iman Vellani, Sagar Shaikh, Zenobia Shroff, and Moen Kapoor are reprising their roles from Miss Marvel.
Yeah, I'd give it a watch. It's the thing with the TV show is that's where they're really exploring different angles more than in the films.
I think that's right. I mean, we're getting She-Hulk.
Yeah, but it's also just because Moon Knight, for example, they went down a mental health avenue, which was interesting. It made it very hard to watch for me because it was well done. I should point out.
Yeah, no, I've not seen it. I've not had much chance to watch much TV recently, but I've heard it's really well done, which makes it really hard to watch.
Yeah, give it a go. And then Miss Marvel, obviously, sort of, putting an emphasis on a Muslim culture, different kind of superhero teenage as well. I guess because just having Spider-Man have that gag is getting old.
No, fair.
So yeah, they're going interesting places with the TV shows, and I don't hate it by any means.
No, I don't. I think I might be more overall in favour of the TV shows than the films at the moment. Much for the same reason as you, they give them some freedom to.
Yes and no. I mean, because I did just watch Thor. There's a lot of. I just want to see the old Avengers. I just love seeing Chris Hemsworth on screen as Thor. I miss Robert Downey Jr., etc.
I think part of the problem was we spoke about this in our last Marvel episode, they got the early phases so right.
Yeah.
Right. Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans, Chris Hemsworth. And then building from there, that all of these new attempts to create new ensemble casts are sort of fallen flat because they're trying to almost do what all of the other people trying to build cinematic universes are trying to do and sort of dive in all in one go, even though Marvel has an established cinematic universe, because they're trying to do it with new characters in a way.
Yes, no, I agree, and they're not putting in the legwork that they did for a Tony Stark, for a Captain America, for a Thor.
No.
This is what Eternals, is, as we discussed, is exactly guilty of. Just here's
18,000 characters.
Yeah, here's 18,000 characters that you will need at the end of this phase because otherwise the world ends. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
I'm getting tired. Watching Marvel films, I'm getting tired.
Yeah.
That's my takeaway, I think.
No, Thor is really good.
I'm
Just as a
definitely going.
spoiler, I really enjoyed it. I mean, I really enjoyed it. I don't know if it's really good, but I really enjoyed it. So.
I'm definitely going to watch it. But looking at that list of Phase 4 projects after Love and Thunder, I'll probably enjoy Black Panther. I'm going to hate Ant-Man and the Wasp, so I'm probably just not going to watch it.
You need to get over this.
I'm so tired of the Guardians of the Galaxy. That is a gag that has run. And then the Marvels.
They might pull out a new soundtrack, that wins us over.
That's true. They could go for a sort of excellent 90s cheese, and I'll be all over it. It's just take that as far as the eye can see.
So yeah, I was going to say like Backstreet Boys to the max, right? Let's go.
Yes.
I'm there for that.
if that's what they do, then I take it all back. Alternatively, it's just Coldplay as far as the eye can see, and everyone in the theatre starts slitting their wrists.
Jesus.
So that took a turn. I think we need to stop recording.
I think that might be. We see you off the premises.
Sorry, that was not something to make light of, and I apologise. I think I'm done. You? Anything else you want to say?
No. It's good to be back.
It is good to be back.
We'll try to get back onto schedule. Although, as I've told you earlier, it's not down to me because I'm an exemplary. I don't even know how to finish that sentence because it's
podcaster.
Just bullshit, isn't it? Yeah.
I mean, I will hold my hands up and say 9 times out of 10, if there's a delay in us recording, it's my fault. My life has become very hectic very quickly, and it's quite hard to line everything up.
This just kind of make it sound as though I've got nothing on, doesn't it?
It does.
No, I'm just an expert scheduler.
Sure.
Cut the recording.
I will remind you that we agreed to record 2 days ago, and then when I raised that, you said, "Oh, it turns out I'm busy." But that's neither here nor there. Thanks for listening to this episode of Expertise is Overrated. No doubt we've said some things that are either objectively wrong or downright offensive. As ever, feel free to let us know. Rate the podcast and leave us a comment, or drop us an email at expertiseisoverrated@gmail.com. Tweet us at @zeroexpertise. Check out our website, expertiseisoverrated.podbean.com, or come join us on our Discord server.
If you're lucky, we might just argue with you in one of our upcoming episodes. And if you're really lucky, we might call you an idiot. We will be back in 2 weeks' time, when, as promised last time, we will actually rank the top 10 duellists in J.K. Rowling's Harry Potter series. Join us then for more nonsense.